Farm Equipment, your hometown John Deere dealer today at rentalsfarmequipment.com.
You're good at making big announcements. We're good at your insurance.
Start with Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance, online, over the phone, or in person, and stop knocking on wood.
You want a sports degree that is beyond the game? A degree that immerses you from day one and launches you into the business side of sports. With a sports management major from IUPUI's School of Health and Human Sciences, you'll have insider access to sports professionals and will learn from faculty with years of teaching and industry experience. There isn't a better city than Indianapolis to get the experience you need to launch your sport industry career.
From warehousing to transportation and everything in between, Piper Logistics does it all. Centrally located, Piper Logistics has 2 warehouses in Indianapolis and a warehouse in Cincinnati, Ohio. Piper Logistics houses over 1 million square feet. Along with our transportation department, we can provide service to half the United States markets.
Can I help you?
Yeah, I'd like to order a hamburger, fries, salt, maybe a large vanilla shake.
This is a trophy shop, can't you tell?
You got carry out?
Everything that you need we have here at the shop. Very unique. You order today, carry out tonight, that's our version of carry out.
All right, I'll take one of everything.
Well, that may take a little longer. We'll have it for you tomorrow night.
I'll be back tomorrow to pick it up.
We'll be waiting for you.
Bertner Electric Incorporated has been proudly serving our residential and commercial customers with quality electrical repair for over 33 years. We are fully licensed and insured in electrical wiring and electrician service packages. You'll receive a competitive assessment, whether you're a homeowner or a business owner, first-time or long-time customer. We offer free estimates for any new project. Call our licensed and experienced electricians today.
You want a career that creates experiences that are impossible to forget. By studying sports and events at IUPUI, you'll get hands-on experience in and out of the classroom. And with Indy as your classroom, there are high-profile events, sports franchises, hotels, museums, and large organizations across the city to engage, educate, and enlighten your student journey before you graduate. There isn't a better city than Indianapolis to get the experience you need to prepare you to handle any event, big or small. It all starts here.
At Morales Group Staffing, we are all about building better futures. And during these times, we are working hard to put people to work. We are now hiring for hundreds of jobs with pay up to $17 an hour. Visit our website at moralesgroup.net or text JOBS, JOBS, to 317-472-7600 to apply now and get hired today.
You're good at keeping the car clean. We're good at your insurance.
Start with Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance, online, over the phone, or in person, and stop knocking on wood.
High school sports fans, welcome back to Game Time. To pure spirit, to pure sport. Welcome back to high school sports.
Fans, I'm IHSAA Commissioner Paul Knighty, and I just want to say, welcome back.
This is Game Time. This is Indiana high school sports. This is your IHSAA.
You want a career that will transform your life while you change the lives of others by helping them live well. With a health or exercise sciences degree from IUPUI School of Health and Human Sciences, you will gain an in-depth understanding of the healthcare industry while preparing you for a variety of graduate and professional programs in health. And with Indy as your classroom, you will have clinical options within leading hospitals right in our backyard, as well as a degree from Indiana University, reputable leaders in the healthcare industry. It all starts here.
Can't get to a computer? Then we've got you covered. Just go to the IndianaSRN app and stay up to date with all of your favorite teams. You can watch live coverage or relive the experience with our on-demand service.
High school football fans, welcome back to Friday night, to pure spirits, to pure sports. Welcome back to high school football.
Fans, I'm IHSAA Commissioner Paul Knighty, and I just want to say, welcome back!
This is Friday night. This is Indiana high school football. This is your IHSAA.
The sharpest tool in the shed. Kinda dumb with her finger and her thumb.
We are at Zionsville West Middle School for a home game of the Covenant Christian Warriors. They host the Indianapolis Washington Continentals, and it's coming to you live right here on Indiana SRN. Jarrett Lewis here alongside Joey Lindstrom, getting set for play in Week 4 Indiana High School football. Covenant Christian Warriors, the defending state champions of Class 1A, have this home game against the Continentals, and they are 3-0 coming into this ball game. Indianapolis Washington, a loss last week. Their record now 1-2. But Coach Mormon, pleased with the way his guys have played the first 3 weeks. A tough schedule for them. They started off the season against a 6A team in Indianapolis Tech, went scoreless 41-0, but got a win next week against Indianapolis Shortridge in their class, which is 4A, 38-14, and then fell to a really good Edgewood team last week, 49-18. So some positives for this Indianapolis Washington team, but they will certainly have their hands full against the defending state championship team in Class 1A here tonight, Joey.
Covenant Christian comes into this game 2-1. They drop their opener and they win 2 straight. Now, what that means for Coach Cottle's squad is that no matter what you do, no matter how you prepare, you have to be ready to play any opponent on any time of the season, and that's exactly what we're going to get tonight. We caught up with Coach Mormon prior to the game. I mean, 8-23 in his 4th year at Washington, but he says this team and the progression is just going up and up and up, Jarrett. And you can see it. Like, all these guys seem excited to play, and that's something that he said really hasn't been around so much in a lot of the IPS schools, is that the kids aren't always as motivated. But this year feels different for them, he said, and they pick up that win at Shortridge, where Coach Mormon used to coach in 2012 and 2014. And then he won at Arlington in 2015 through 2017, winning a sectional against none other than Covenant Christian. So he's seen these guys before. He knows what to expect, and I'm sure he's prepared his guys, justly and ready. I bet they're ready to go.
and he is starting a freshman at quarterback position. We learned that from Coach Mormon before the game. Damon Hooks, we will have our eyes on him, of course. On the other side for Covenant Christian, their starting quarterback is Tony Flatt, taking over for his older brother, who graduated and was a member of that state championship team from last year. Pretty impressive season offensively as a whole for Covenant Christian. Flatt coming into this game, his completion percentage is at .56. He's averaging 188 yards passing a game, 7 touchdowns, and taking care of the football, just 1 interception through 3 games of play.
And that's exactly what you want when you lose somebody like Austin Frazier, who was such a good, not only a good quarterback, but a great leader. The next man up mentality has to be, is this guy going to be good enough to lead our team after a 15-0 season and after a state championship? How are we going to attack the season with a new quarterback? And Tony Flatt has done extremely well at that. He's created opportunities when there isn't any. He runs away from the pressure. He uses his body to contort around to throw to his receivers and lead them. And he's really good at the breaking ball, right? And those sideline breaking balls where a receiver might have a comeback or whatever. Covenant Christian, Coach Cottle is encouraging his guys to run complicated schemes throughout, and he's the offensive coordinator, and he puts Tony Flatt in a position to succeed every single time. I am interested, though, Jarrett, in seeing how they respond with Jordan Gross being out, number 5, the receiver, out with an injury the last 2 weeks, and how they respond without him, one of their team captains, losing him. What does that mean for Covenant Christian? Well, we'll just have to see. They have taken care of business the last 2 weeks, but that loss to Speedway was something that kind of woke them up a little bit. Look, we don't have the same state championship squad. We're not the same team. We have to figure out what our identity is, and so far it's been through the air.
Gross, a senior, out of this ball game tonight, 7 catches. That's second on the team, 68 yards receiving. And how about this running core, including a junior and John Neighbors? He leads the team in carries with 51. A little over 320 yards rushing this season. That's good for 110 a game. And 4 touchdowns on the ground. Him and Flatt make up most of the carries offensively. So Flatt also presents that dual threat ability. He'll put the ball through the air. This is a very balanced offense. But we'll also see Flatt tuck it and run. Him and Neighbors doing a lot of the damage in the run game.
And not to mention, too, I think what Neighbors brings is a different type of style. We saw guys like Gage Coffey and Michael Wilson last year, both rushers that just floored records here. Michael Wilson specifically, over 1,300 yards last year. That is a huge, huge set of shoes to fill. And I think that John Neighbors is ready. 329 yards already through 3 games, obviously an average of over 100 a game. And he's creating opportunities for himself, running between the tackles, sometimes putting them outside. They like to run that spread offense, jet sweeps to him as well. I'm looking for him as well as Jeremiah Dowdle to go ahead and get those carries, pop 5.5 yards per carry, not only tonight but throughout the season. And it's an exciting group for sure, especially to respond after last year.
Coach Evan Cottle taking over in his first year, a 2-1 record as we enter week number 4. Here are the games for the Warriors. Last week, able to take care of business at Indianapolis Addicts, 53-6 that score. A much closer game 2 weeks ago against Traders Point, 26-22 victory. And they opened the season at Speedway, a very close loss, 26-21. But right now, riding this 2-game winning streak, a lot to be proud of, a lot to be happy about. And they have a home game here at Zionsville West Middle School, hosting the Continentals of Indianapolis, Washington, and you can see the Warriors getting ready to come back out onto the field. Run into that sign of Warrior football, the defending state champs of Class 1A. They average 33.5 points per ball game, while only giving up 18 to their opponents, and here they come.
It's going to be fun. There's nothing like Friday Night Lights, man. And we still got the sunshine out. We're rolling. This is what it's all about. Indiana high school football.
Covenant Christian in their all-black home unis. Green numbers, green letters, white trim around. Continentals in the all-white. Should be a good one right here on IndianaSRN. Jarrett Lewis alongside Joey Lindstrom. 6 total games on the family of networks tonight on IndianaSRN, and a couple of good ones, including Chittard and Cathedral, the number 1 team in Class 5A. The Irish taking on a always good Chittard team who moved up from Class 3A to 4A this year. So a little different road for them coming up after so much success in the previous class. Covenant Christian, a 1A school. Indianapolis, Washington, a 4A opponent.
One thing I wanted to mention, Jared, Damon Lee brought up into the starting lineup at outside linebacker, took a little bit of a leave of absence, and he is back. That's going to be a dynamic piece of Washington's D, is how he can affect the run game of Covenant Christian and be able to stop John Neighbors. They're strong up front, but I think Washington will be, if they're gonna be able to pick apart Covenant Christian's offense, it's going to be by their defensive pressure, especially from their front four.
Mentioned the running game. It's been so good for Covenant Christian, but also throwing the football. 9 different players have caught a pass this season. Leading them in that category, he has 9 receptions this year. That would be Gavin Tyndall. 9 catches, good for 144 yards and a score. The leading touchdown receiver is Trey Rapogel of Covenant Christian. 3 touchdowns making up the 7 that Covenant Christian has passing through the air. See the Warriors on their sideline. We're getting ready for football. It's getting closer, a little after 7:05 right now our time. But we will have football here shortly, and we're proud to be here on Indiana SRN. Let's take our first break. When we come back, beginning of this ball game from Zionsville West Middle School right here on Indiana SRN.
Hey folks, good to be with you for tonight's game. My name is Andy Simpson, and I'm a licensed IHSAA football official, and welcome to Friday Night Football, powered by Indiana SRN. On behalf of the 340 football officials, the IHSAA, the crew here at Indiana SRN, we hope you enjoyed tonight's game, and more important, don't forget to subscribe to the Indiana SRN YouTube page. As you're watching tonight's contest, I'm going to show you a few of our signals that will help you better understand the information we are trying to convey. Touchdown. Safety. First down. Holding or illegal use of hands. Encroachment, or offsides commonly known. False start or illegal formation on the offense, or a free kick, scrimmage violation. Face mask. Intentional grounding, roughing the passer, clipping, illegal shift, illegal motion, illegal block, pass interference by the offense or the defense, delay of game, and the one signal we dislike and you as fans don't like seeing, unsporting. We'd like to thank everyone for tuning in tonight and following us on Indiana SRN. You can also tune in to the Football Weekly Show and Coach's Show every Saturday morning at 8 a.m. on IndianaSRN.org. Finally, if you've ever thought about becoming an IHSAA official, at www.ihsaa.org and click on the Officials tab or call the IHSAA office at 317-846-6601. Now, sit back.
This is the Frells family's land. When the sun comes out, the kids run and play right there. This used to be a shed. Now, it's where they get breakfast. This is more than just land. It's home. The Frells family runs with us on a John Deere 1 Series tractor. His land isn't the only thing that should live on for generations. Nothing runs like a deer. Search John Deere 1 Series for more.
Visit Reynolds Farm Equipment, your hometown John Deere dealer today at reynoldsfarmequipment.com.
Welcome back to Zionsville West Middle School on the northwest side of Indianapolis. The Warriors of Covenant Christian set to host the Washington Continentals of Indianapolis. Jarrett Lewis alongside Joey Lindstrom on Indiana SRN. One of 6 games that we have for you airing tonight. 4 games on the live stream, 2 games on the radio. The Warriors coming in with a 2-1 record. Opposite for the Continentals. They are 1-2 entering this season. And Coach Mormon's saying they're going to go with a freshman at starting quarterback tonight, that being Damon Hooks. They've had a couple different players play that position, but he says he's going to go with the freshman tonight, mix things up a little bit. Tony Flatt is the starting quarterback for the Warriors. He's getting warmed up on the sideline as Warriors waiting to meet at midfield. We'll have our coin toss, and we'll get this thing rolling.
So then I'm looking at immediately the special teams for both sides. Covenant Christian, 128 punt yards, which is off of 7 punts, which isn't something that is an advantage for them right now. So you'd think that if Washington gets a couple stops, gets in good field position, that's going to play an advantage. Another key that I'm looking at is Washington has to start early and start fast. We caught up with the coin toss at the beginning. I believe Covenant Christian is taking the ball first. And if that is the case, Washington needs to start fast and get to the ball quickly. Hurry, have that herd mentality, and try to rip the ball out if you can. On the Covenant Christian side, I mean, if you can just do your thing and be in your control and be in that flow, no matter what. I mean, it has to start on the ground right away, and then throw out Tony Flatt and give him some chances just to make some quick, short passes, gain some confidence, and get him rolling for the night. As far as a freshman goes for Washington, Damon Hooks, 5'8", he's probably got no trouble seeing over the line really, but I mean, he's going to have to be a dynamic football player tonight and be a leader in that huddle. When you are that young and you're in that position, it is hard sometimes to try to, put the big boy pants on, if you will, and be the leader out there, command the offense, and I'm excited to see how he does.
We're excited to get this thing rolling. A little bit of a delayed start, 7:10 at the moment, but soon we'll have the captains of each team meet at the middle, and we'll have a kickoff ready for you right here on IndianaSRN. Clear skies, not a cloud over the field. There's some clouds in the distance across from us here in the press box. 75 degrees, perfect football weather. So we are in week 4. It might be it'll start to get cooler as the night goes on and as the season goes on, but still just a little over a quarter of the way through this 2021 season. 3 captains for Covenant Christian.
Maybe they are doing another coin toss. I don't know what we saw.
I'm pretty sure we saw the actual coin toss.
Yeah.
This is more of just a
formality,
pageantry type deal. We'll have head referee makes the signal.
Got to look for on defense. Ethan Sparks out there, captain number 79. Dude is a body in the middle, an absolute unit, and he loves to plug all gaps of the offensive line, of the opposing offensive line. But on his offensive side, he's also a talented player. He's got great feet for being a big guy.
Check that 4 captains for Covenant Christian. The others, the quarterback, Tony Flatt, also John Neighbors. He's their leading rusher. And Will Lyons, one of their leading receivers. 3 catches, 2 of those for touchdowns on the year. Just 1 catch a game, but he has made the most of it, getting it into the end zone. That is something that Covenant is so fond of doing. Last year they did it so well, led them all the way to Lucas Oil Stadium in a victory in the 1A title game. They averaged just over 33 points a ball game while giving up 18 points to their opponents. This season for Washington, their last game, a 49-18 loss to Edgewood. Before that, defeated Shortridge 38-14. That was their best game of the season and their lone win. So here we go. The Continentals set to tee things off from the 40, going from right to left. Covenant Christian has 2 guys back. Luke Munoz being one. He wears number 15. Gavin Tyndall, the other, number 16. Jaquan Bridges looks like he's ready to kick things off for Washington. The 1-2 Continentals and the 2-1 Warriors. Feels like football weather. 75 and clear from Zionsville on the northwest side of Indy. Five guys on each side for Washington. Waiting to go, and we're off. Continentals kick it off, and it's fielded from the 20 by Tyndall. Finally taken down at the 30. It took a while for Washington to bring him down, but it's a decent return for Covenant Christian, and that's where Tony Flatt and company will set up shop on their opening drive.
Great hit immediately by Isaiah White. The rest of the Continentals come and play cleanup duty. Take him down, and it was going to be a solid return for Tyndall, but ends up being a solid special teams play from Washington to start out.
And starting out for Covenant Christian, they'll have two receivers on the near side, one on the far side. Neighbors in the backfield. Tyndall's the one in motion, and we get a whistle before the play. It'll be an offsides called against George Washington.
Yeah, I can't have the mental errors like that immediately out of the gate. Tough one for George Washington to get started on that. But here we go, 1st and 5 for Covenant. Got to imagine the same type of play is coming.
Same formation. Tyndall again in motion from right to left. Flatt is looking to his left, now over the middle of the field. Tip ball, and it's going to fall incomplete. Lucky for the Warriors and Covenant Christian. In the neighborhood was Rapogel for the Warriors.
Flatt looked a little rushed on that play, Jared. I think he didn't really take his drop back like he's probably used to. He just kind of shuffled himself and looked back over the middle. He's scanning left to right, which is the right move. Obviously, you want to go outside to in, but on that particular play. But he gets into a little bit of trouble with himself and with his feet.
So now a 2nd and 5. Upcoming for the Warriors. Same exact look, Tyndall in motion. This time it's a give on the counter to Neighbors. Coming near side, taking a defender with him, close to the yard to gain. Looks like it'll be a 3rd and 1 upcoming for Covenant Christian.
Good stretch play to get it to Neighbors. Way to stay home for Washington. That's going to be key. I believe that was Damon Lee on the stop there. Now 3rd and short. Let's see what Covenant does.
First 3rd down situation on the opening drive for the Warriors. Another give to Neighbors. They'll go opposite side. Neighbors, 1st down and more across midfield. Across the 40 and dragged down at the 35. Great run for Neighbors on his 2nd attempt. Looks like it's going to be a gain of 32 on the carry.
Neighbors gets the 1st down, gets the edge on the outside. Great block on the outside by the receiver. That was number 10, Will Lyons. Great block, young man.
Now a 1st and 10 from the 35. Flatt fakes the give to Neighbors. He's looking deep, looking for a touchdown, and he overthrows his man. Intended for Buckley. Brock Buckley, the intended target. Just 1 catch on the season for Buckley. Again, 9 different guys have caught a pass from Flatt this year.
Brock Buckley was trying to get that post and trying to get a little bit more of an edge, but climbing the ladder, getting a chance at it was Darnell Stewart. When we talked to Coach Mormon, Darnell is going to be a huge impact player for his guys tonight.
2nd and 10, Flatt looking to pass again. Steps up in the pocket, and this time he connects with Buckley. Across midfield, and Buckley's going to go. First touchdown of the game on the opening drive for the Warriors, a 35-yard catch and run for number 81, Brock Buckley.
Nobody home for Washington in that space. When you're in that cover 2 look, you have to have somebody home in the linebacker spot. Nobody was. Brock Buckley takes advantage, gets a catch, and makes a play.
Jack Fulbright in for the kicking duties of Covenant Christian. Flat will hold. Kick is up. It looks good. Plenty of leg, and it is good. 10-28, a fast 7 points put on the board by Covenant Christian, and they lead Washington 7-0. Don't go anywhere. More first quarter football coming up next on IndianaSRN.
From warehousing to transportation and everything in between, Piper Logistics does it all. Centrally located, Piper Logistics has 2 warehouses in Indianapolis and a warehouse in Cincinnati, Ohio. Piper Logistics houses over 1 million square feet. Along with our transportation department, we can provide service to half the United States markets.
Can't get to a computer? Then we've got you covered. Just go to the IndianaSRN app and stay up to date with all of your favorite teams. You can watch live coverage or relive the experience with our on-demand service.
Welcome back to Zionsville West Middle School. The Warriors of Covenant Christian striking fast, up 7-0 after the 35-yard touchdown reception from Tony Flat to Brock Buckley. Just the second catch on the season for Buckley, and it's good for his first touchdown.
Well, it took that long run by Neighbors to get that next play action play, and Buckley wanted a little revenge after that play, and he sure gets it.
Fulbright's kick is high and short, fielded at the 20 by Washington. Across the 35, decent return for Washington, out to the 37. Let's go back and take another look at this touchdown.
See the linebackers bail. Again, it was Damon Lee that kind of abandoned his spot if he's there. I don't think Buckley gets the ball, but Buckley finds the open space. It's part of that spot route that you need to do.
So here's the first look for Washington. Damon Hooks, number 16, just a freshman. In the backfield with him has Josh Askew, a senior. First play is going to be a pass out in the flat, breaking the initial tackle and getting back to the line of scrimmage. Looked like it was Darnell Stewart on the far side. Actually, it's Jayon Easton wearing number 2 on that far side.
I like the way that Coach Mormon is developing Damon Hooks here. I mean, getting him out to those short passes is going to be really important as he progresses through this game and through his career, really.
Brings up second and about 11 yards. Now they'll put it on the ground. On the far side, right in front of his bench, and a decent pickup to almost the 45 and about the 44-yard line. That was Josh Askew out of the backfield.
Josh Askew lowers the shoulder, gains the extra yardage. Great job, big fella, on that run. See if they go back to it here on 3rd and short.
3rd and 4 coming up for the Continentals. Ball spotted at the 44. This time it's number 6 of Washington, Marcus Stokes. He's going to pick up a first down, gain of 5 yards for Stokes out of the backfield.
Interesting that they take Marcus Stokes and Askew and kind of rotate them, and it seems like that's what they're trying to do here. I like the strategy, and I bet they go back to it.
3 different players on 3 plays for Washington. Touching the football, Stokes with a nice gain to pick up first down.
Big number 50, Keon Simmons, up in front, 6'4", 240 at center. He's got to lead that offensive line.
And the man in motion, that's DeMonte Lamb. He's tackled in the backfield on the jet sweep. Nice defense On the play for Covenant Christian, Munoz in on the tackle. Loss of 2 yards on the play.
Devontae Lamb on the carry, another impact player that we examined for this Washington team.
Thanks, Coach.
They like to get him in that kind of jet sweep play, get him outside the tackles. But Covenant Christian stays home, makes some nice adjustments to try to get him down.
Spread offense look from Washington. This time they'll have 2 backs in the backfield. Hooks has Stokes behind him. And a flinch from the back. No call from the referees. It'll still be nothing to talk about yardage-wise for Washington. Back to the line of scrimmage. No gain on the carry for Marcus Stokes.
It's a good push by the defensive line initially for Covenant Christian, and I think that's the most important part for them. If they're going to want to stop this run game, easiest way is to get that initial push.
Third down and long. 12 yards to go for Washington. Three wide receivers towards the top of your screen. Hooks. Just a one-step drop, flinging it down the sideline, and it's intercepted, but out of bounds was Munoz. Trying to go after Darnell Stewart. It'll be an incomplete pass, and it'll set up a 4th down situation from the 49.
That was a good job by Munoz to try to get over the top there. They leave the cover 2 shell, leave that area open. And I think a little more experienced Damon Hooks lowers the level of that ball to try to fit it in the hole. That's the hole shot, they call it. That one just a little too lofted.
Into the punting formation is Washington. Jaquan Bridges was the kickoff specialist. He'll also be back to punt. Get a whistle and a stoppage. And it looks like it's going to be delay of game. Washington taking too much time. They'll move the ball back, giving some more room. We'll see what the leg is from Bridges.
And that's tough, right? I mean, you want to be able to get your guys to the line, get set, ready to punt.
The punt is away. Another flag, a spiraling punt. Takes a bounce at the 36 and is downed at the 34 by Isaac Coella. We'll check on the flag real quick. Head referee looks to be signaling an illegal formation call against Washington. Coach Cottle going to decide if he wants to tack on those yards at the end of the punt or make them re-punt it. And they will accept the penalty. 5 more yards for Covenant Christian. So instead of the 35-yard line, they'll get to start this drive from the 40.
Even better field position for Covenant Christian. And now the question is, do you try to run again with Neighbors or get another pass going?
Flat started the game with 2 completions passing, but then third time was the charm, connecting with Buckley on the 30-yard touchdown.
A couple of quick updates around high school football and on our family of networks. Park Tudor versus Traders Point. Park Tudor leads 7-0. 6 minutes left in the first. Heritage Christian 7, Eastern Hancock 0.
Flat on the connection right at the 10 yards to go, right at the chains. And on the catch looked to be Will Lyons of Covenant Christian.
Another score update. Cathedral leading Chittard 14-0.
Big time game there. The coach on the call of that one.
The coach got the call?
I believe he does.
He's the man.
The coach and I had volleyball yesterday, Heritage Christian. It was at Heritage Christian. Here's flat to Buckley in the flat and dragged down at the 40-yard line. 2 consecutive completions, 13 yards from flat to Buckley.
Yeah, Darnell Stewart out there, a little bit of soft coverage. Buckley takes advantage, stops his ride, I think a little bit early on his curl to try to get that ball and turn around and make a play. Good job by Trey Flatt seeing it. That's his first read out there to find a flat defender. He finds there in cover 3 and lets it go.
Another new set of downs for Covenant Christian. They're at the 40-yard line in Washington territory. 3 receivers up top for flat. And in the flat, getting it out quickly. This is Rapogel down the far sideline. Another first down and another 13-yard connection. Flat starting to find some rhythm with his receivers.
Those little screen passes might as well just be running plays. You can add it as part of the run game. They're so quick. Defense doesn't have time to react to whether it's a run or pass. They just know they got to get out wide now.
Flat, 4 consecutive completions. 3 different receivers so far in the mix for him. First down, and we get another jump from Washington. Looks to be 5 more free yards coming up for Covenant Christian.
That's one of those things Coach Mormon talked about. Those little, takes no talent to keep yourself down on the line, right? And it's just a mental part of the game that you have to get past. And unfortunately,
it's going to go the other way. Actually, Covenant Christian guilty.
Well, there you go.
Moving first. Referees talk it over. Looks like they came to a conclusion. First penalty called against Covenant Christian.
Well, good on Coach Mormon's guys for staying home. And Covenant Christian not getting the benefit on that one.
1st and 15 situation with the ball at the 34. Fake to Neighbors. Flat, having to step up, gets hit in the head and will throw it deep. He's got a man. It's Rapogel, and it's another touchdown. How about 35 yards on the connection to Buckley, and now 34 yards here. Touchdown reception to Trey Rapogel.
Rapogel is just there and available, gets the wheel route going. But how about Trey Flatt stepping up in the pocket, 3 guys ready to knock him out onto the ground, and he steps up and lets an absolute beauty fly onto the right sideline.
Rapogel unaccounted for down the near sideline. And this is a great start to this first quarter for the Warriors. 2 possessions, 2 touchdowns. Fulbright's point after looks good. It's through the uprights and good. 5 minutes left to go in this first quarter. The Warriors off to a hot start, up 14-0 on IndianaSRN.
How does a good man become even better? By working out? Or by working his way up the corporate ladder? By changing his diet? Or by changing his style? By traveling the world? Or by staying perfectly still? For 300 years, we've helped good men become the best versions of themselves through a dedicated fraternity and by taking an oath to live a life of integrity, service, and brotherly love. Men who are as committed to each other and their families as they are to our noble cause. In the end, we don't just make men better, we make them Masons. Not just a man, a Mason.
Covenant Christian ready to send this one away. Still in this first quarter, 5 minutes left to go, and Tony Flatt, 5 consecutive completions. And that last one, a 34-yard strike to Trey Rapogel for their second score. Here's the kickoff. Fielded by Askew of Washington, and he's down at the 30-yard line. Back to this touchdown pass.
Gets the fake. Takes a little bit for Covenant Christian, or Washington, to realize. But there he is. Wide open. Rapogel in the right spot at the right time. Trey Flat, beautiful ball, stepping up. Sometimes those are the best plays as a QB. Like, you get to dodge somebody out, or juke somebody out, rather. You move up in the pocket. You let it fly. It's a good feeling.
Meanwhile, the Washington player still down on the field. Trainer out attending to him at the moment. And there was also a penalty on the play, and that's going to push the football back for Washington. They'll have to start things at the 20-yard line instead of the 30. That player for Washington is up. Jalen Hood. He's going to make his way over to the sideline. And back out for their second possession is Washington. Gained a first down in their first set of chains. Able to convert on third down, but then forced a punt. That ended their first drive. Rest of the offense back out on the field for the Continentals, including Damon Hooks, who 1 for 2 through the air. At the first play, a completion, but didn't go anywhere. So far on the ground between Askew and Stokes, 13 yards rushing total for those two. And now down 2 scores. Washington looking to try to cut this deficit down, but this first play won't help much. Hit in the backfield is Marcus Stokes, and it's going to be a loss on first down.
Great job filling the hole by Neighbors. From that linebacker spot, runs up, makes the initial hit, and lets his guys take care of the rest.
Keelan Hampton also in on the stop. Number 51 there on the defensive line. Loss of 3 yards to Stokes.
Let's see if Washington can get a little bit more of that run game we saw on their first drive.
2 receivers near side for Hooks. And he'll look near side, but then go far side, pass down the field, outthrows everybody. Over in that area was Jayon Easton.
Bit of a miscommunication, I think, for Washington. 2 guys kind of in the same area. Hooks just kind of throws it in between the middle of them.
Tezion Jones also streaking down the sideline for Washington. Now a 3rd and long situation upcoming for Washington.
See what Coach Mormon and his staff have planned here for Hooks and a 3rd and long.
3rd and 13 for Washington. Hooks. Instead, it'll give it up the middle to Stokes, and nowhere to go. Covenant Christian defense all over it. No gain on the play. And we'll see another punt upcoming, most likely, from Washington.
Good fill again by Covenant Christian. The Warriors ready for it all. Anything that Washington throwing at them right now.
Last time Washington was out for a punt, they had the delay of game that pushed them back. Again, it'll be Bridges. Here's the snap. Almost wasn't ready for it. And it's going to be a fake. He's got a man, but he overthrows him. Intercepted by Covenant Christian. That being Tyndall. And I guess you can look at it as that's just as good as a punt deep in your own side of the field for Washington. But it'll go down as an interception thrown by Bridges, and Tyndall is the one to come up with it.
You're a glass half full guy, Jared.
Hey,
I love it. But you're right, Tyndall, I mean, they're available. He's ready to go for anything, obviously, and he was ready to field a punt. Instead, he fields it, he gets himself an interception.
Still great field position upcoming for Covenant Christian. They are inside the 40 at the 39 of Indianapolis, Washington. Washington has a man come on late, and here's a snap. Different running back in the backfield for Covenant Christian. Jeremiah Dowdle takes the carry. His first touch of the game. It's good for 3 yards.
Yep, Jeremiah Dowdle gets his first carry of the night, freshman.
Dowdle
Tries to make
has
the most of it.
plenty of carries this season coming into this one. That's his first. Here's the interception, just overthrowing his man. Bridges almost able to get it to Isaac Coella, who was well beyond the first down line, and with a catch was going to pick up that first down. Another carry coming up for Dowdle. This time he loses a yard. So now a 3rd and 8 situation upcoming for the Warriors.
What a hit by Malachi Kroom. Gets up and lays the wood on Dowdle. And that's got to pump your defense up if you're Washington. Go ahead and make another play.
On the season for Dowdle, the freshman, that was his 13th carry on the year. 61 yards rushing coming into this one and 2 touchdowns. Two wide receivers on each side for Flatt. Dowdle the lone back. Flatt looking to pass. Gets it over to Dowdle. Cuts it from the outside back towards the middle of the field. It'll be short of a first down. Looks to be about 4 yards short. Could see Covenant Christian go for it, and we do see the offense staying out on the field. Got another stoppage. Referee's blowing the whistle. 2 players, actually a couple of players, limping over to the sideline of Washington. It doesn't appear to be an injury timeout, but we do have 4th and 4 upcoming for Covenant Christian. We'll take a break. 1:19 left to go in this first quarter. Back out of the timeout. Didn't appear to be an official timeout as both teams got back out on the field quickly. A carry for Dowdell, and Washington there to stop him. No gain. So a turnover on downs by Covenant Christian.
I love the stop by Washington. They had a gang tackle up in the middle. Dowdell had nowhere to go.
Back out onto the field is the offense. Here's that play. And immediately met in the backfield. 2 separate players from that defensive line of George Washington, Calvin Washington, along with Tyree Delaney in the backfield to get the stop. Here's the 3rd drive. New quarterback in for Washington. It's Bridges. Rolling out to his right down the sideline, and a jump ball got up there, but off of his fingers. That was Darnell Stewart. We do have a flag back towards the line of scrimmage.
I do like the play call. I mean, getting Bridges outside the pocket, having an opportunity for Stewart to get it is there, but you see the ineligible man downfield. Does not help Washington whatsoever.
Jaquan Bridges now taking the snaps for Washington. Saw Damon Hooks on the first 2 drives. Coach Mormon said he was going to go with the freshman, shake things up a bit, but now do have Bridges back there, a senior.
I think Bridges adds a little bit more of a dynamic element to this backfield. And Hooks has the ability to run that offense, but I think you take a little bit more of a spark with Bridges.
This time it's a run. After the penalty pushed Washington back, they had a 1st and 15, and on the play, Bridges picks up 0.
tough play. I like the idea, but I hope they come back to that rolling type of play where they can get Stewart into space, get their dynamic players, maybe even have a play set up for Lamb. Bridges, quick player, so maybe he can get outside the pocket and make something happen.
Just 2 completions so far for the Washington offense in the passing game. Here's a man in motion. Bridges fakes it up the middle and misses everybody. Had Stewart over the middle of the field, and Bridges also got hit as he threw it. And with that play, the clock hits 0. That was the last play of the first quarter. And in control is the home team, the men in black, the Warriors of Covenant Christian, up 14-0 over the visiting Continental. Second quarter coming up next right here on IndianaSRN.
How does a good man become even better? By working out? Or by working his way up the corporate ladder? By changing his diet? Or by changing his style? By traveling the world? Or by staying perfectly still? For 300 years, we've helped good men become the best versions of themselves through a dedicated fraternity and by taking an oath to live a life of integrity, service, and brotherly love. Men who are as committed to each other and their families as they are to our noble cause. In the end, we don't just make men better, we make them Masons. Not just a man, a Mason.
"12 new minutes on the clock at Zionsville West Middle School. Jarrett Lewis alongside Joey Lindstrom on IndianaSRN. Continentals switch sides of the field. Now they'll be going from left to right. Bridges still out there, and Washington facing a 3rd and long. 15 yards to go. Man in motion is Easton. It's a give up the middle to Stokes. Hit at the line of scrimmage. Bounces off a couple of guys. Won't go down. And finally does. No gain on the carry for Stokes. And another punt coming up for Bridges and company.
I like the dynamic attitude they had on that drive to try to get Bridges in a space where he can throw. He does hit. He gets a crossing pattern from Stewart. He gets him on the bootleg. Just a couple of overthrows, and that's okay. I mean, if you got young guys at QB, the best thing you could do is just put them in situations where, 1, they can succeed, and 2, where they can get just a little bit uncomfortable to try to learn a little bit baptism by fire.
A couple of players coming on late for Washington. And it won't be Bridges back to punt. It looks like Stokes is back there. And before they can get a snap off, we get whistles from the refs. And it's another delay of game. That's the second time in punt formation the Continentals have done that.
That's one of those things. You want to be able to get your guys set, make sure you're all there, but you also have to do it in a timely manner. And I think that's just growing pains of the program sometimes, of a growing program, excuse me.
End over end punt. Flag does come in, and it's Tyndall who fields it at the 48 down the sideline. Puts it back towards the middle of the field to the 25-yard line. We'll check in on the flag. It came in right at the snap. So either somebody offsides for Covenant or maybe illegal formation for Washington. But nonetheless, Covenant will have great starting field position.
It's a nice punt, too. As long as you get your coverage down there, you can make any punter look good. This was a nice punt, but even better return by Tyndall.
Illegal shift is the call. And they also had a holding call. So there are 2 flags on the play. You see the one right there next to the head official. There's one on the far sideline around the 20-yard line. That flag was thrown at the snap, but also a flag thrown on the return. You have an illegal motion, not illegal shift, called against Washington. They'll decline that penalty. Well, the penalties will work in favor of Washington because the holding call at the spot of the foul will push things back to the 45-yard line. Still, Covenant Christian well into Washington territory. And after the turnover on downs last possession, trying to get back on the scoreboard here. Flat in the pistol. 5-step drop, now rolls to his right. Looking downfield, now back over the middle of the field. Connects up with Buckley again, who has a 5 yards on the catch.
Good job by Flat. Goes through his progression, escapes the pocket. Looking for anyone out there and finds Buckley just sitting in the hole of the defense.
3 catches for Buckley so far tonight. 53 yards, including the touchdown. Here's a 2nd and 5. 3-step drop, near side, flat, down the sideline. It's Buckley again, and does he have it? Yes, he does. What a catch by number 81 inside the 10-yard line and brought out of bounds around the 7.
Way to go up and get it, Brock Buckley. Beautiful play. What I love most is he watched the ball fall into his hands. He did not try to look to where he was going to land. He just kind of trusted where his body was in relation to the out-of-bounds line.
And may have got 2 feet in, actually, so was double good on the catch. Down the sideline. Now Buckley will be split out wide on the far side. 3 receivers on that side of the field. Ball on the left hash, flat, looking left, lob pass, corner of the end zone. And no, they rule incomplete, did not get that foot down. Will Lyons, the intended target. We see him get that foot down, but can't tell if it was inside the line or not.
I don't think he was. I think body maybe was outside where it needed to be and loses that chance. Get another look here.
Yes, he was out. That right
sure
foot.
Sure was. Didn't need slow motion on that one.
Great catch by the referee who's positioned in front of the goalpost. Towards the right side. This is Neighbors. Puts a stiff arm out there and easily crosses the end zone for the 3rd score of the game. Covenant Christian makes the lead 20-0.
Good job by Neighbors, waiting and for his blocks to develop. 6-yard touchdown, great play. Good blocks by Ethan Sparks. And Elijah Carlson, great work.
Had all the real estate to work with, did Neighbors. Fulbright's kick is up and good. He's 3 for 3 on PATs. 9:49 on the clock in this second quarter. The Warriors still on top, 21-0 on IndianaSRN.
You want a career that fuels your passion for sports and physical activity. IUPUI School of Health and Human Sciences offers that and more. You'll have insider access to sports, fitness, and exercise science professionals and learn from faculty with years of industry experience. And with Indy as your classroom, you'll study next to world-class sports facilities, Olympic governing bodies, the NCAA, and the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. There isn't a better city than Indianapolis to get the experience you need to launch your sports industry career. It all starts here.
Can't get to a computer? Then we've got you covered. Just go to the IndianaSRN app and stay up to date with all of your favorite teams. You can watch live coverage or relive the experience with our on-demand service.
Fulbright has it teed up at the 40-yard line. Kicks this one away towards the sideline. It's going to be close. And it falls into the end zone. Almost went out of bounds. Would have gave Washington nice field position, but it does go into the end zone for a touchback.
Sure would have been nice for Washington to get that one at 35 because of the legal procedure.
Here's the easy touchdown carry in for Neighbors. Just 3 carries to his credit, but 42 yards on the ground.
That hole was wide open for him. You could drive a Mack truck through it thanks to the O-line.
Here's the pass down the sideline to Buckley.
I think he did get 2 feet, Jarrett.
Hey, even from up here, not a bad eye, I guess.
Our vantage point. Yeah, we had a good spot.
Great camera work by our man upstairs, Nick Lewis.
That's right. Always, we expect the best. Shout out to our producer, James.
Yep, Andrews is on the 1 and 2. On the controls for this one. On the ground.
Oh, why turn around?
Askew got turned around and trying to make a little bit more out of the little that he had. Just a 2-yard pickup on 1st and 10 for Washington.
I think Askew, if he keeps going forward, he gains a few more yards here, but turns around, felt the defense where they were, and made his decision to go back. Just a 3-yard gain, it looks like.
Washington moving it around, getting into their formation. They have 2 receivers near side. Jayon Easton is in the slot. He has one of the receptions for Washington. Give up the middle. Now bouncing it outside. Here's Stokes. Trying to get around everybody, which he does. 1st down and more. Across midfield. Here goes Stokes. Finally wrapped down by 2 defenders at the 40-yard line of Covenant Christian.
I think Marcus Stokes is the guy you need to feed the ball. I mean, on every running play. This kid is talented, and he gets outside. He's a big guy, and boy, does he run the ball hard.
He is a big body, 39 yards on the carry. 6'2", 220, junior running back. Great vision. Started towards the middle, then able to bounce things outside, and now brand new set of downs at the 39 for Washington. Bridges still in at quarterback. Another gift to Stokes, this time near side. Keeps things up the middle for a 3-yard pickup. So some momentum starting to pick up between this offensive line and Stokes on the carry. Here's that big long run from Stokes on the previous play.
Gets a great block on the outside by Lamb and Stewart, and he just gets a step. Huge gain from Stokes. And then they followed it up right there again.
Washington taking their time in between plays. DeMonte Lamb will move from the left side to the right. They fake the give to Stokes, and now facing the pressure is Bridges. Has to keep it. Will make something out of nothing. Brings it back towards the middle of the field, does Bridges, and may have a 1st down.
What a run by Bridges. Escapes 2 defenders, switches direction at least 3 different times.
It's close to a 1st down. Actually, they will give it to him. So enough on the carry for Stokes to get a new set of downs. What was almost a 5-yard loss turns into a 5 or 6 yard gain.
And Bridges was dead to rights. I mean, he had, I believe that was Neighbors coming right after him on the outside. Breaks 2 tackles, gets a great gain. Now it's 1st down.
Washington has it at the 30. Askew down the sideline, another 1st down for Washington, or at least close to the line to gain.
And this is the type of thing I was intending for Washington. I mean, establishing the run is exactly what you need to do when you feel like you're the underdog. Try to establish that dominance at the front line with your front 5. Let your running backs do their work. Look at that, 3 1st downs in a row.
Askew gets close to it. 2nd and 1 upcoming. And a good-looking drive right now for the Continentals. They've had Bridges in. This is his 2nd drive on offense. Read option. He keeps it. Up the middle will have enough for a 1st down on the short gain of 3 yards.
I like the call again by Coach Mormon. It's a big 1st down that you need to get in the red zone. Good to see this one again.
This is Bridges looking to pass, 2 guys trailing him. And what was actually a 7 or 8 yard loss.
I think if he just goes around 72 there, he has a chance to break one long. Does revert directions, makes a really nice play. That's part of the maturation, though.
Here's Bridges looking to pass. Flushed out of the pocket. Still looking downfield, and he'll just have to tuck it and get with it what he will. He forced out of bounds.
It's a smart play. I mean, the worst thing you can do is try to force that ball into triple coverage or double. I mean, anytime your receivers are downfield like that, there's bound to be, especially in the red zone, there's bound to be some Covenant Christian Warriors defending. So nice job, good smart play to just take that and run. Unfortunately, he loses a couple, but better than an interception.
Just 2 yards on the loss for Bridges, so minimal damage. 2nd and 12. A quick hitter, and he can't catch it. DeMonte Lamb had some space to work with, but was looking to run perhaps before he reeled it in.
DeMonte Lamb was there, had the ball in his hands. Tough play. Now 3rd and long all of a sudden. 2 plays go by quickly for Washington.
We'll call it 3rd and 11. Bridges looking to pass again. Over the middle of the field, and he overshoots his man, Darnell Stewart. Looked to be on the slant pattern. And here's a 4th down spot for Washington. The offense will stay out on the field.
Unfortunately, Washington goes away a little bit from the run. I mean, you get all those first downs to get down to this point. 3 pass plays in a row. All of a sudden, 4th and 11. Got to get this one.
It is 4th and 11. Passing situation, and Bridges nowhere to go with it. 2 guys around the edge. One of them was Trey Reprogel. Turnover on downs by Washington. Good defensive stand after giving up some chunk yardage plays by Covenant Christian.
Yeah, Reprogel was there initially with the pressure. Cleans it up with his teammate, and nice job by Covenant Christian to hold strong.
Reprogel beating the left tackle right at the snap. Also there, Ronald Weichart for the Warriors.
And those 2 are very key on the defensive line for Covenant.
Warriors will begin this drive at the 20. Check that, make that the 21. Here's the snap. To give to Dowdle, and he's tackled well beyond the line of scrimmage. Nowhere to go, reeling him down.
Damon Lee on that one. From that outside linebacker spot, Coach Mormon said he makes a difference because of his length. And he gets outside, brings down Dowdell, and here you go. Coach, good tackle for loss, gives you a little bit of confidence on defense now.
Coach Mormon talking highly about Lee before this one at that outside linebacker position. And he forces a 2nd and 15 upcoming. Here's Flat. On the hitch, Buckley. Sideline, a stiff arm. Nice yards after the catch for Buckley. Looks to be enough for a 1st down. 16 yards, and Buckley has his 5th catch of the evening.
Buckley with another nice curl route to gain some space. It's looking like a menace out there, the senior.
And with that catch, Buckley eclipses 100 yards receiving with 102.
And rightfully so. I mean, this kid is good on the outside. Not to mention he's got the length over everybody else.
Flat, 130 yards through the air. This time they go to the ground. It's Neighbors. Cuts left, cuts back to the middle, now back towards the left. Enough for a 1st down and more across midfield to the 46-yard line. Big time pickup, 22 yards on the carry for Neighbors.
Another big carry from Neighbors, and this Covenant Christian offense, when this squad gets rolling, they do not stop. Can hit you from all angles.
Another new set of downs coming up for Covenant Christian. Balanced offensive attack has been clicking all night. It's Neighbors again. Actually, they fake it's Neighbors. Flat gets hit as he throws, has a man, and it's off his fingers. He had his man down the sideline.
Repogel there.
There was Repogel. And hit as he threw also was Flat.
That was the same play we saw the touchdown on, where Flat scooted up in the pocket, let it rip.
That time a big-time hit from the defense of Washington. Brings up a 2nd and 10. Just the 4th incompletion tonight for Flat. He's 9 of 13. Counterplay, Neighbors. Plenty of room to run. One man to go. He makes a move on him, cuts it back towards the middle of the field, and he will go.
Wow.
Breaking multiple tackles on his way to a 46-yard carry for John Neighbors.
Can't stop the train when it's rolling, man. Neighbors gets a full head of steam and lets it roll. Nice juke move to get it back inside on his track to get to the touchdown.
46-yard carry. He now eclipses 100 yards, just John Neighbors, 108 to be exact. Fulbright in for another PAT. Flag comes in as the PAT goes through. Looks to be offsides for Washington, though declined the penalty. And Covenant now makes the lead 28-0 here at Zionsville West Middle School on IndianaSRN. 3:21 left to go in this first half.
This is the Frells family's land. When the sun comes out, the kids run and play right there. This used to be a shed. Now, it's where they get breakfast. This is more than just land. It's home. The Frells family runs with us on a John Deere 1 Series tractor. His land isn't the only thing that should live on for generations. Nothing runs like a Deere. Search John Deere 1 Series for more.
Visit Reynolds Farm Equipment, your hometown John Deere dealer today at reynoldsfarmequipment.com.
(28-0) our score. Warriors well in control. Have scored on 4 of their 5 offensive possessions. With 3:21 left to play in this first half. Fulbright set to kick things off back to Washington. A high kick fielded at the 10 by Askew. Takes things from right to left. Flag comes in behind the play as Askew is tackled at the 32.
Let's see what this flag is. Most of the time when it comes from the back judge behind the kick returner, it is normally on the returning team.
Block in the back or holding situation, that is the call.
It sure is holding. Unfortunately for Washington, that was a great return by Askew.
Would have been the best field position that Washington has started with. We get another look at this great run by Neighbors, the running back.
Very nice run. I mean, makes the cut right there. Shimmies away a defender. Takes it to the house. Great job by Neighbors.
This is a guy you can't arm tackle.
No way.
Neighbors, 2 touchdowns here tonight. That makes 6 for the season. And instead of 1st and 10 from the 32, it's 1st and 10 from the 10 for Washington. Bridges still in at quarterback. Fakes the give up the middle. Now gets it into the flat. He's got a man. Picks up enough for a 1st down. Looks to be 12 yards on the connection. That was Jayon Easton, his 2nd catch tonight.
Great work by Easton to just be available, and Bridges delivers a nice football.
The first completion so far for Bridges. He was 0 of 3 before that. Now a good first opening play here on this drive. Plenty of time to work with for Washington and all 3 of their timeouts. Easton again in motion. Same exact play, except they give it this time up the middle. It's Marcus Stokes.
Stokes, once again, I like what they're doing with him, having him do giving him those dives, possible stretch plays. Dynamic athlete, you have to give him the football. You have enough time here if you want to keep running it.
Stokes at the half-century mark, 50 yards on the ground after 8 carries. Ball's on the ground, and Washington acting like they lost it, and they did. Fumble recovery for Covenant Christian.
Elijah Carlson, right place, right time, falls on the football, gets the Warriors the ball back.
And plenty of time now for Covenant Christian to put more points up on the scoreboard.
Quite possibly get another touchdown in before the half.
Just 27 yards to go with 2:08 left to play. Tony Flatt back out on the field. Another give to Neighbors. Makes the first. 2 guys miss down the far sideline. Plenty of yardage for a 1st down. From the 27-yard line to about the 12, 15-yard carry for Josh Neighbors. He has 123 yards on the ground.
Whew. Averages 109 a game.
We'll get another look real quick here at that fumble. And just a
bad exchange, yeah.
Stokes and Bridges, and immediately you could see Bridges upset not being able to get that ball to his back.
All right, something you do so routinely, and you don't even think about it sometimes, and unfortunately when you don't, that's what happens.
Neighbors again on the stretch run play, and he gets the corner. 3rd touchdown of the ball game for John Neighbors. 12-yard scamper makes it 34-0 Warriors.
It's another simple stretch play on the last play. The tackle gets outside on the B block. This time the guard actually pulls and makes sure Neighbors has the availability to get outside. Neighbors takes advantage, stretches his arm across the pylon.
Fulbright, 4 for 4 on PATs. Another good snap, another good kick, and it's through the uprights.
Don't forget about the good hold, too.
Can't forget about the hold. 35-0 our score. In the blink of an eye, the Warriors score again. 1:27 left to go in this first half on IndianaSRN.
Can't get to a computer? Then we've got you covered. Just go to the IndianaSRN app and stay up to date with all of your favorite teams. You can watch live coverage or relive the experience with our on-demand service.
Here's Covenant Christian with a 35-0 lead from Zionsville West Middle School over the Continentals of Indianapolis, Washington. Thanks so much for tuning in on Indiana SRN. Jarrett Lewis alongside Joey Lindstrom. Joey's got some score updates from some other Indiana SRN games.
We can catch any of them on IndianaSRN.org. Cathedral leading 28-0 against Chittard. And Park Tudor 28-14 over Traders Point at half.
Almost a half here in Zionsville. Askew on the return for Washington. Get things out to the 25-yard line. Another look at the neighbors' run. His third touchdown.
See the reach by the left tackle there. Beautiful work, and gets neighbors out into that scamper, into space for a touchdown.
They call it that stretch play as the linemen stretch out towards the left side of the field. Back out on offense is Washington. They've had some chunk yardage plays and have had a couple of good possessions, even getting it well inside the territory of Covenant Christian.
They have, and I think that's encouraging for these guys. You see that you have a talent like Bridges in the backfield. Go ahead and use him.
And here he is, rolling out toward the left side, picks up a first down and more. And got a nice block in the backfield to create enough space to get the edge.
How about Bridges leaving a man in the dust on a juke move and gets that first down?
15-yard pickup on the keeper by Bridges.
Talented, dynamic player in the backfield behind center right now, and that's a guy that you want to go make plays for you.
22 yards rushing for Bridges at the quarterback position. Just 1 of 4 passing for 13 yards. 2 receivers both sides looking to pass. Over the middle of the field, Bridges had his man. Just let him out too far in front. DeMonte Lamb, the intended target.
I see where he was going. He tried to find DeMonte Lamb behind the window of that defender. As the will linebacker to the weak side, you're trying to identify where that receiver is coming from. It was a nice job in the defensive backfield to identify. Made it hard on Bridges, but Bridges had a nice throw. Lamb just could not reach far enough.
1:04 left to go. Washington trying to get on the scoreboard before the end of the half. Man in motion and slipping and falling in the backfield. Bridges felt the pressure, and calling a timeout is Coach Cottle of Covenant Christian, stopping the clock with 55 seconds. With this timeout, we'll take a break. Just under a minute left to go in this first half. Covenant on top, 35-0. Make sure you never miss an upcoming game here on Indiana SRN. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Hit that big red button. Also hit that notification bell so you're notified of every time we go live. 6 games tonight on the family of networks Indiana SRN.
And you have the chance to be the 2500th. Wow, I don't know, my brain's not working right now.
Numbers are hard. Math is hard sometimes.
I graduated college, I swear.
Here's third and very long. Bridges loses the handle on it and almost coming away with the interception, but it's off of his hands. Wyatt Bowman. Bowman cracks a smile even though he knows he should have had that one. It'll still make the Continentals punt it away, so Covenant will take possession here soon. Bridges back to punt. He had 2 punts earlier. Stokes more recently sent a punt away. Flag comes in at the snap. Low line drive punt gets across midfield and trickles out of bounds right at the 50-yard line.
Flag down.
And it looks like Washington's still having trouble in their punt formation. A couple of illegal formation calls. Coach Cottle.
Yet another one there.
He's just going to decline the penalty. And Covenant will have great field position at the 50. Don't know if they'll try to score again with just 43 seconds, up 35. But soon we will head to halftime. And once the second half begins, Covenant Christian up 35 will enforce the running clock the rest of the second half. And possibly trying to put more on the scoreboard. Flat in the pistol. Here's a give to Neighbors up the middle. Run game has been working well, but this time Damon Lee meets Neighbors at the 45. Hurry up offense for Covenant Christian now. 25 seconds to go. Another give to Neighbors. Trying to get to the sideline, and he's forced out. Loss of yardage. So 3rd and 9 coming up for Covenant Christian.
Like the effort out of Neighbors there, but questioning why I didn't cut it up.
Does stop the clock with 22 to go. We'll see if Coach Cottle elects to put the ball through the air. Tony Flat. 3-step drop. Now 4-step in the pocket, still looking downfield. Has a man wide open, and it's through the hands of Will Lyons. Had plenty enough for the first down. But the pass falls incomplete, and now it's 4th and 9.
And Will Lyons, I think he was pointing to the lights, possibly interfering with his sight there. I don't think Coach Cottle will accept the excuse, maybe not, but
yeah, kind of an awkward looking exchange. Maybe the lights were in fact a factor. Going for it on 4th and 9 is Covenant Christian. 2 receivers near side, and trying to get a head start was Askew. Easy offsides call and a free 5 yards. And with the first down, if Covenant Christian were to pick it up, the clock would stop until the chains are ready and the referees are ready for play. Covenant does still have 2 timeouts left to use. Now facing 4th and 4. Here's Flat. Looking towards his left. Going for it all. Has Buckley. Jump ball. And good defense on the play. DeMonte Lamb, the defender on Buckley.
Good job by DeMonte Lamb. Yep, good job. He has this ability to track the ball on this play, and he does a really nice job of finding it and finding his relation to Buckley and knocking that away.
Just slightly underthrown on the pass from Flat. Just a little bit more on that, and Buckley is catching that ball in stride for another touchdown. Now Washington has 7 seconds here on their own side of the field at the 44. Three receivers near side. Bridges now has Stokes go towards the top of the screen in the slot. Pass over the middle. Hauled in by Stewart, and he's immediately brought down. Enough for the first down. It did stop the clock, but the clock now does read 0. Head referee signals over 1 second on the clock. And Indianapolis, Washington, just in the nick of time, gets that timeout.
They sure do, and getting 1 second back, another chance for possible score. You never know what can happen here.
12-yard connection. Hooks to Stewart, his first catch of the night. Washington out of the timeout will be at the 44 of Covenant Christian. And with one last play left, trying to get it into the end zone. Bridges with that pass. He's just 2 of 6 tonight for 25 yards. 3 different players with catches for the Continentals. Easton has 2 for 13. Stewart on the catch. That previous play, 12 yards. And DeMonte Lamb had a catch earlier in the game for -2 yards. Coach Mormon and the Continentals starting things off with the freshman Damon Hooks at quarterback. But now the last 3 or 4 drives, it's been Jaquan Bridges.
And I think it's played an advantage because he's had a lot of dynamic moves to the backfield.
4 receivers near side, and Stokes on the bubble pass. Can't haul it in. That'll be the last play of the first half, and it's Covenant Christian showing why they're the 6th-ranked team in Class 1A. 35-0 our score. John Neighbors, 3 separate touchdown runs, and the Warriors are all over the Continentals so far in this one. Both teams will head to their respective sides of the field. The Warriors will enact the running clock once we enter the second half of play. From Zionsville West Middle School, we're heading to halftime right here on IndianaSRN.
You want a career that creates experiences that are impossible to forget. By studying sports and events at IUPUI, you'll get hands-on experience in and out of the classroom. And with Indy as your classroom, there are high-profile events, sports franchises, hotels, museums, and large organizations across the city to engage, educate, and enlighten your student journey before you graduate. There isn't a better city than Indianapolis to get the experience you need to prepare you to handle any event, big or small. It all starts here.
High school football fans, welcome back to Friday nights, to pure spirits, to pure sports. Welcome back to high school football.
Fans, I'm IHSAA Commissioner Paul Knighty, and I just want to say, welcome back!
This is Friday night. This is Indiana high school football. This is your IHSAA.
They say nice guys don't finish first. So maybe it's time to reconsider what it means to be first.
It's about being your best, but knowing you could be even better.
It's being present, but respectful of history.
You sure you want to make that move?
It's donating something more valuable than money.
It's believing in yourself and something bigger.
It's coming from different families, but treating each other like brothers.
It's not just being a man, it's being a Mason.
Hey, conductor, how about something new? You played this last year.
Come on, get your head out of your sacks.
Shh, we're trying to hear.
Well, I'm sick and tired of hearing your kid play the wrong notes. Where's my kid solo?
At least you can see your kid. Why is my kid stuck way in the back?
The conductor only plays his favorites.
I get heard that solo!
You see what I did?
Yeah!
Can't get to a computer? Then we've got you covered. Just go to the IndianaSRN app and stay up to date with all of your favorite teams. You can watch live coverage or relive the experience with our on-demand service.
Game day on Indiana SRN. And now here's a special message from Assistant Commissioner of the Indiana High School Athletic Association, Sandra Walter.
In cooperation with the Indiana High School Athletic Association, Indiana SRN would like to thank the men and women who officiate our sports contests. Congratulations to the following officials who've been selected as Official of the Year in their respective sport. This distinction is based on service to student athletes, coaches, and community over decades. These men and women have given countless hours to promoting and ensuring that education-based athletics are afforded to your student athlete. In cross country, Mr. Ted Knopfsinger. Soccer for 21-22, Mr. Lawrence Lohner. In volleyball in the north, Mr. Steve Klein. And in football in Lake County, Mr. Fred Schob. If you'd like to become an IHSAA official, please contact Sandra Walter at the IHSAA office. Phone number 317-846-6601. And a huge thank you to Mr. Keith Meyer and Indiana SRN for being such an advocate to our officials, our student athletes, and our administrators of 407 member schools across the state of Indiana. We certainly thank you for the support and the constant effort to promote all that is good about education-based athletics.
Becoming a licensed sports official is a great way to make a positive difference in the community and support the over 160,000 Indiana student athletes that participate across 22 IHSAA sports. Sports officiating allows you to stay connected to the game, become a role model for our young student athletes, earn extra money, and support the patrons and communities of our IHSAA member schools. To learn more about becoming a licensed IHSAA official, log on to ihsaa.org/officials today.
This is a place of becoming. I grew up spiritually here. This place is a gem of Christian community, not just for churches and not just for schools, but for Christians coming together and dialoguing and truly learning and truly engaging culture.
This idea of the relationship with a student and the relationship with God, it's the most important thing in what we do in every single subject that we teach.
We want Covenant to be a place where they are challenged in their faith here in a safe environment where questions are welcome, but we ultimately have faith in the gospel.
The model of Covenant is that all teachers are Bible teachers, that all the teachers are mentors and spiritual leaders. And we've always hired teachers that care immensely about their students and not just about their intellectual life, but about their spiritual life.
The kind of education that Covenant is providing, both intellectual but also deeply spiritual, practical, theology that changes the way that students live. The gospel is the message that changes everything.
We're not just trying to master the truths, but to receive them that we would be changed.
Do you want to have a thinking faith? Do you want to have a curious faith? How about a charitable faith? We need students who understand their faith, and not who just understand it intellectually, but who have a zeal, a personal zeal for Jesus.
We are pursuing concrete answers to everything always, to be right, but to live in right relationship. Not just be right, but do rightly.
Our model of education, our pursuit of learning, is not just about preparing students to serve, though it is that. It's not just preparing students for rigorous academic endeavors, which we hopefully do that as well. But we know that at the heart of it all, and the thing that matters most to us, is that their lives are changed.
This is your IHSAA. This is your state. This is your high school. This is your athletic association.
Fans, I'm IHSAA Commissioner Paul Knighty, and we're here to make sure that all of this remains yours.
This is your state. This is your community. This is your IHSAA.
$35-0 our halftime score here at Zionsville West Middle School, the northwest side of Indianapolis, right here on IndianaSRN. We thank you so much for tuning in. Jarrett Lewis here. Next to me, my broadcast partner, Joey Lindstrom. Real quick, Joey, you have some scores from across our family of networks, IndianaSRN. Got some couple halftime scores along with our game as well.
I sure do. We have Cathedral 28-0 over Chittard at the half. Just getting into the second half there. Next, Park Tudor 40-14 over Traders Point at halftime. And apparently it happened very quickly. Park Tudor was up just 21-14. All of a sudden they get up to 40. Crazy. Outside of our family of networks, Lafayette Harrison losing to Lafayette Jeff 27-21 at half. And we also have, actually on our family of networks, 28-0 Heritage Christian over Eastern Hancock. That's your alma mater, is it not?
It is.
Eastern Hancock, yeah.
Tough scene so
far.
Tough
scene. Elsewhere, West Lafayette all over Lafayette Central Catholic 35-7 at the half. And those are your score updates, Jarrett.
35-0 is our score here. The Warriors well in control. Want to give a nice shout out to the basketball coach, Scott Flatt. Gracious enough to give us some updated stats, some team stats to look at. Total offense, this is a big differential. Covenant Christian right now, 290 yards of total offense and just keeping George Washington to 102 yards. 27 total plays for Covenant Christian. They're averaging 10.5 yards per play. Through the air, Tony Flatt, 9 of 14, 164 yards passing. 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. On the other side for Washington, as a team, 3 of 12 passing it through the air with 1 interception and just 24 yards passing. On the ground for Covenant Christian, 126 yards as a team on 13 rushes, good for 9.7 yards a carry. As for Washington, 78 total yards rushing on 20 attempts. So Covenant Christian doing a lot more with few attempts. That's why you see the 9.7 as their yards per play, and a lot of those yardage coming from John Neighbors. He has 9 attempts for 130 yards and 3 rushing touchdowns. The time of possession game, Covenant Christian has only had the ball for 10 minutes and 33 seconds. So of those 24 minutes, not controlling the time of possession, but doing a lot of early work, a lot of chunk yardage plays end up putting them in great field position to score.
And that's exactly what their game plan was coming in. Coach Cottle knew exactly what to do. Get the ball going on the ground. Let Tony Flatt work his magic against this defense, which has a lot of young players, and I think that was initially the strategy, and they might as well stick to it. Already up 35-0, and a lot of great carries out of John Neighbors, an absolute beast. Came into this game 51 carries, 329 yards, 6.5 yards per carry. And what's he at now, you said? I missed it.
For Neighbors?
For Neighbors.
130 yards rushing on 9 attempts.
Insane. So he's already defeated his average and certainly exceeding that, no doubter. It's got to be as high on the rushing for his career. The other one I wanted to mention before we go to break, Brock Buckley, not even remotely on the stat sheet last year, coming onto the scene, a three-sport athlete. Very impressed with how he's played at the wide receiver position tonight, and we're going to see more of him in the second half.
We'll go over those receiving numbers when we come back. The clock continues to wind down as we close in on the second half, getting underway from Zionsville West Middle School on IndianaSRN.
Can I help you?
Yeah, I'd like to order a hamburger, fries, salt, maybe a large vanilla shake.
This is a trophy shop, can't you tell?
You got carry out?
Everything that you need, we have here at the shop. Very unique. You order today, carry out tonight. That's our version of carry out.
All right, I'll take one of everything.
Well, that may take a little longer. We'll have it for you tomorrow night.
I'll be back tomorrow to pick it up.
We'll be waiting for you.
Halftime here at Zionsville West Middle School, 35-0 our score. Covenant Christian, one of the reasons they're up so big is their balanced offensive attack. We talked about Neighbors before the break. 9 rushes for 130 yards. That's good for 14.5 yards a carry. In the receiving game, they're led by Brock Buckley, as you mentioned, Joey. 5 receptions tonight, 107 yards, and a touchdown score, 21.5 yards per reception. Trey Rapogel has 2 catches for 45 yards and a touchdown. Will Lyons and Jeremiah Dowdle with a reception apiece as well. Just 3 receptions on the other side for Washington. They've had some drives where the running game has set them up in striking distance, but Covenant Christian's defense has stood strong and prevented any points putting up on the board by the Continentals. So you got to think, even down 35, you're going to see a majority of the running game from Washington in this second half. A lot of Marcus Stokes. He has 50 yards rushing on 8 carries. Jaquan Bridges, who came in at quarterback after the first 2 drives of the game, had Damon Hooks at quarterback. He's looked well and as a pretty solid dual-threat quarterback. He has 6 rushes for 13 yards, and through the air, Bridges is just 2 of 7 for 25.
And the thing is, he provided that spark that is exactly what Washington needed. I think Damon Hooks getting into his groove just took a little too long, and I think having Bridges go out there and try to throw 2 passes immediately just out of the hands of Stewart, I mean, gets Washington into a little bit more of a groove where they have the ability all of a sudden to be a little more bit dynamic in their play calling, and Bridges provides that. So if they can keep doing that, if they can get the ball to their playmakers like Lamb and Stewart, and especially to Marcus Stokes, I mean, there's really no stopping this rushing attack when they do that.
This
except
was the first score of the game.
But there's
Brock Buckley on the touchdown reception to kick things off. 35 points put up on the board. 2 passing touchdowns for Tony Flatt. 1 to Buckley, you saw there. The other to Rapogel. Leading in the turnover category, forcing turnovers, is this Covenant Christian defense as well. 2, to be exact, a fumble lost, and that set up the Warriors in prime position to score inside the Washington 20, and then an interception for Covenant Christian as well. Here they come back out onto the field. The home team, they've enacted a running clock for the rest of this ball game, up 35 points. Warriors will have just a couple more minutes of warm-up time before they will kick things off, and Washington they're ready to go. They're ready to get the second half rolling. They have the kickoff team out on the field waiting to go, but just under 2 minutes on the clock for some warm-up time of the Warriors. few other team stats. Covenant Christian, 13 first downs, and Washington has only been able to pick up 7. Covenant Christian just well in control, leading in almost every aspect. We'll take one more final break. The second half is coming up next on Indiana SRN.
You want a career that will transform your life while you change the lives of others by helping them live well. With a health or exercise sciences degree from IUPUI School of Health and Human Sciences, you will gain an in-depth understanding of the healthcare industry while preparing you for a variety of graduate and professional programs in health. And with Indy as your classroom, you will have clinical options within leading hospitals right in our backyard, as well as a degree from Indiana University, reputable leaders in the healthcare industry. It all starts here.
Can't get to a computer? Then we've got you covered. Just go to the IndianaSRN app and stay up to date with all of your favorite teams. You can watch live coverage or relive the experience with our on-demand service.
Just about to get things underway in this second half from Zionsville West Middle School on Indiana SRN. Jared Lewis with Joey Lindstrom. Another score update. You can listen to this game live on IndianaSRN.org. Daniel Morales, Bill Ludlow on the call of Mount Vernon on top of New Palestine 42-10. That's a county matchup, a Hoosier Heritage Conference matchup. And Mount Vernon began their conference play last week, able to defeat Greenfield Central on the road. And now the rest of the season will be Hoosier Heritage Conference play.
I love listening to Bill Ludlow. He's like the uncle I never had, the grandpa that I never had, the long extended grandpa that I never had.
I was with Daniel last week at Greenfield Central for the game on the radio.
He probably looked at you and said, "You're not Bill."
And well, he said that, first of all. And then there was an instance, I think it was 3rd and 25 or something like that. And that's what I said. I said 3rd and 25. And Daniel looks at me and he goes, "Uh-oh, you messed up. That's not what you're supposed to say." And I'm like, "What do you mean? What are you talking about?" And he goes, "Bill Ludlow would say 3rd and a country mile."
Ah, yep.
So that was my one mistake of the night. Actually, I'm pretty sure I probably had a couple more, but that's all right. But, didn't live up to the seat that Bill Ludlow usually has for the Mount Vernon game. So
it's hard to.
I
really
apologize to Bill.
We don't have the deep guttural country accent.
But, no, they're enjoying themselves at New Palestine. The Marauders well on top of New Palestine, 42-10.
That's surprising, too, because Mount Vernon drops the game to Noblesville. Now coming out and putting it down on New Pal. Here we go.
Here's our opening kickoff of the second half. Askew bounces it towards the outside and is pushed out of bounds around a couple of his teammates. Gets across the 35. Actually, that's where he was pushed out, was the 35-yard line. So here comes Washington.
So running clock now as the deficit is 35. Let's see what Washington does. I think if you get Jaquan Bridges involved by just putting him in positions that he can go make a play, that's going to be the most important part.
Another score for you from Indiana SRN, Heritage Christian at Eastern Hancock, up 28-0. Start of the third quarter there. First play here, Bridges forced out. Got rid of the first guy, but the second guy there is going to take him down. That's a big man of Covenant Christian. Elijah Carlson, 6'3", 245, gets to the quarterback for the sack.
It was an almost play for Bridges. I mean, he gets away from one defender, but Eli Carlson finishes him off.
Loss of 15 yards, so now second and a country mile. 25 to go. Two receivers split out both sides. Bridges takes the snap. He'll give it to Stokes. Starts to the middle, bounces it towards the outside. He's done this a couple times, and it's worked out for him.
Boy, when Stokes gets moving, he does not stop. This guy is an absolute train when he commits to that run, commits to where he wants to go. He's hard to bring down.
Looks to be an 8-yard pickup for Stokes. He has 58 yards rushing. Has been a bright spot for this Continental offense here tonight. Covenant Christian started the season 0-1, a loss to Speedway, but they have won their past 2 games. Looking to start a 3-game win streak. Bridges off his back foot, throws it up into the air, and there was 4 Covenant Christian defenders in the area, and not one of them is able to bring it down.
Not often do you see that many football players chomping at the bit for an interception, but it looks like they all had the same idea and didn't let one other teammate go up and get it. And I think they actually defended against themselves trying to get that interception. But for Bridges, I mean, young quarterback, you're going to make those kind of decisions where you're rolling out and you're just kind of trying to make a play. Unfortunately, for Covenant Christian, they don't come up with it. But rather fortunately for Washington, they also don't come up with it because ill-advised throw.
Carter Bell, one of the guys in the area. Tyndall was there. And here is Tyndall from the 48 with a full steam ahead. Pushed out of bounds. Nice return by Tyndall. This is where he's been great for Covenant Christian in the return game. Gets the ball, looks like, to the 23-yard line of of Washington.
Well, Tyndall gets the running start. Nice punt by Bridges. This kid, obviously the utility guy. Didn't start at quarterback, but they put him in there anyway. And now he's punting too.
Covenant is at the 24-yard line. We'll get to look at this punt return again. Look at this wall set up by the Warriors. And a lot of real estate here near side.
Tyndall gets a head start at the 50-yard line. Makes the most of it. Great work.
26-yard return, and before the first play of the Warriors, we get an encroachment. Seven penalties in that first half from Washington. Now the 8th penalty of their game has had 45 penalty yards handed over to Covenant Christian. Counterplay. This play has worked so well, and here goes Neighbors again. Breaks a tackle across the goal line. Make it 4 scoring touchdowns tonight for John Neighbors.
Neighbors again. And this counterplay was beautifully done. Pulling guard. Takes his bucket step. Reaches. Tony Flatt with a nice little fake out in his motion even. Great job blocking by the offensive line. Gets Neighbors some room, and he makes the most of it. Breaks a tackle. Gets to pay dirt for the 4th time tonight. Unreal.
19-yard rush for Neighbors. He finds the end zone for the 4th time, and it's now a 41-0 lead. Neighbors also 150 yards on the ground tonight. Fulbright has been perfect. He still is 6 for 6. 42-0 our score. Covenant Christian set to move on and be 3-1 on this season.
Becoming a licensed sports official is a great way to make a positive difference in the community and support the over 160,000 Indiana student athletes that participate across 22 IHSAA sports. Sports officiating allows you to stay connected to the game, become a role model for our young student athletes, earn extra money, and support the patrons and communities of our IHSAA member schools. To learn more about becoming a licensed IHSAA official, log on to ihsaa.org/officials today.
Covenant Christian up 42-0 here at Zionsville West Middle School. Neighbors, 4 touchdowns coming into this game and 4 touchdowns here tonight. He has been unstoppable, 150 yards on the ground on just 10 carries. So how about 15 yards a carry?
How about it indeed? Sounds pretty efficient to me.
Ball
I don't know what you do there.
Hits the pylon. It'll be a touchback, but that's the second time now that Fulbright has been that close to either a touchback or a kick out of bounds.
Somebody send that to Pat McAfee. I think that might be something he'd enjoy.
For the brand, as you would say.
That's right.
We'll take another look at this touchdown. This counter play has worked so well. Look at this hole.
Beautiful job by the tackle and kind of a fake out by the back trying to block. See if Washington can do anything here. They've met in the red zone a couple times, but come up short.
Clock continues to roll as the running clock is into effect. Covenant Christian took a 35-0 lead into halftime, and they are the first to get on the board in the second half. Keeping it is Bridges as the quarterback, and doesn't pick up much. In fact, nothing at all. 2nd and 10 upcoming.
When you run those kind of QB draws, you need to have a little bit of patience as he collects that ball. Maybe drop one step and then start to go. Bridges just went right away.
Taking a while to get this play going is Washington, and the referees will step in. And a timeout called by Coach Mormon and Washington. We'll take a timeout with them. 5:33 left to go in this third on IndianaSRN.
I'm Keith Myers, Vice President of IndianaSRN. Thanks for joining us. Do you know IndianaSRN broadcasts 350 games a year? All sorts of sports? Yeah, we do. Hard to believe, isn't it? IndianaSRN loves to put student athletes first on our website. If you're a business out there, we probably can help you too. Contact us at coach@indianasrn.org. Grandma from out of state thanks you. Mom and Dad who can't get to the game thanks you as well. In fact, our athletes watch the games over and over again. Our military has enjoyed the games as well. So sit back and enjoy the game. It's IndianaSRN.
Out of the timeout, Washington. 2nd and 10 upcoming for them. This broadcast is copyrighted by IndianaSRN and the Indiana High School Athletic Association for the private use of our audience. The use of pictures, videos, and audio without the express written permission of the IHSAA is prohibited. Thanks so much for tuning in. Covenant Christian taking care of business right now against Washington. And back in at quarterback is Damon Hooks, and he bobbles the snap. Continental's going backwards, and Hooks fell on it back at the 10-yard line.
Update on our family of networks. Cathedral just had a pick six on Chittard. 38-7. The score there. Catch that at IndianaSRN.org.
Cathedral showing why they're the #1 team in Class 5A. Hooks lets it fly, coming over from the safety spot and getting the interception. And he might take it back the other way. He will. Pick six for Covenant Christian. That's Will Lyons.
It was Brock Buckley, actually. And to add on to his day, gets himself an interception and a score to go with it.
Buckley has
second touchdown of the day.
Touchdown on offense and now a touchdown on defense.
Both receiving touchdowns.
So there's Lyons wearing number 10. He's trotting on the field for the PAT, but it was Buckley on the interception. It was going down that far sideline. Hard to see those numbers on the black jerseys and the green numbers, but give the credit to Buckley on the interception. 49-0 now the score. Fulbright kicks the PAT through. 4:52 on the clock. Covenant Christian keeping things rolling here at Zionsville West Middle School. Back live at Zionsville West Middle School on IndianaSRN. After the pick 6 from Brock Buckley, that makes the score 49-0 for the Warriors. Buckley had the first touchdown of the game, and he now has the most recent one.
Buckley, a three-sport athlete, football, basketball, and baseball.
Here's Stokes on the return. Starts towards the middle now, goes towards the left. Good return here for Washington as Stokes is bumped out of bounds. Right at midfield, the Malcolm just short, out of bounds at the 49.
I'm telling you, man, if you can get Stokes going into space, he is a hard man to stop.
Good pressure applied, and Hooks just three-step drop, looking to get rid of it quickly.
Yeah, he lets this one go. I think as he matures, he's going to realize that sometimes the ball being thrown up is great when it's one-on-one, but, man, when the safety lurks like that, just like Buckley did, it is hard. Looking ahead, you know, Washington's schedule, if they can pull some wins together, they play at Beech Grove next week, then they're at a tough Speedway team. Then they play Purdue Poly, Crispus Attucks, and finish up with Tinley.
Askew on the carry. Tackled from behind and brought down by the back of his jersey, but still a decent pickup, 4 yards on the rush. Running the ball, Josh Askew, 23 yards on 4 carries. There's been 4 different guys in the rushing category tonight for Washington. This time Hooks meshed with Askew, decided to keep it, and a bad exchange will cost them 2 yards.
Yeah, unfortunately for Hooks, I mean, he is reading the defender as he puts the ball into the stomach there of Stokes. Rides it all the way through, tries to go. Nothing happened, nothing home. Have to hold on to the ball. Ball security is the most important part of this.
Third and 8 yards. Hooks comes running in on the field. No play clock for us to look at, but I have to think it's winding down with the referees counting. Washington gets the play off. Hooks nearly intercepted. He read it well. Jumping that play for Covenant Christian, trying to get the number real quick.
23, that was Daniel Shin.
And it was Shin indeed. He forces a 4th down. Almost had pick 6s for Covenant Christian on back-to-back trips. Game clock continues to wind down at 2 minutes in this third quarter. 4th and 8 now. Hooks, 2 receivers, both sides. 3-step drop. Not on the same page with his receiver, and that pass falls well incomplete. Another turnover on downs. Washington will give it right back to Covenant Christian.
Now Covenant takes over. See if looks like Tony Flatt's day is done.
He's got the helmet off on the sideline, as do most of the rest of the usual starters. We'll get you Who's in for Covenant Christian? Quarterback's going to be Gavin Tyndall. He's in the pistol. And he's got Dowdle behind him. It's a give to Jeremiah Dowdle. Up the middle of the field, across the 40, enough yards for a first down, 13 yards. The longest run tonight for Jeremiah Dowdle.
Dowdle got himself loose a little bit off that stretch play. Good job by the offensive line.
This offensive line has been setting the tone all night.
I don't think Covenant has as many reserve offensive linemen available right now as maybe they would like. So most of those guys are starters.
Tyndall wearing those green gloves on the exchange. Can't get it to Dowdle, but luckily enough, number 27 in black is able to get back on it. Second and 16 is going to be coming up here for Covenant Christian, and that'll be the last play of this third quarter. The fourth and final quarter is coming up next here on IndianaSRN. Covenant Christian going to move to 3-1 on the year, currently up 49-0 on IndianaSRN.
At Morales Group Staffing, we are all about building better futures. And during these times, we are working hard to put people to work. We are now hiring for hundreds of jobs with pay up to $17 an hour. Visit our website at moralesgroup.net or text JOBS, JOBS, to 317-472-7600 to apply now and get hired today.
Just 12 minutes left to go in this one. 49-0 our score. Covenant Christian trying to make it a 3-game win streak now. They've won their past 2. They started the season 0-1 after a loss to Speedway. Got a win last week versus Crispus Attucks, 53-6. Washington will have those two teams to wait for in the rest of their season. A couple of games upcoming for them. Here's a nice completion. Tyndall gets it to Jet Foster.
Nifty move by Foster. Catches it on the sideline. Does a little spinorama. Gets himself back into the field of play. Gains a couple more yards. Great play. How about Tyndall stepping in there and letting it rip?
21 yards on the completion. Foster catches it from Tyndall. Second team offense out on the field. Tyndall takes those green gloves off and hands off to Dowdle. Left side on another stretch play, which has worked all night for Covenant Christian. That offensive line doing their part, and they give Dowdle 7 yards on the carry.
I mean, if you're getting 5.5 yards per carry with Dowdell, I mean, might as well keep letting it go.
It is a gain of 5, so now 2nd and 5. Upcoming ball is at the 20-yard line.
Washington with a 1 high safety, too.
And a false start. Wide receiver up top, flinching for Covenant Christian just before the snap.
Play maybe was going to him. He got a little excited.
Those 5 yards from Dowdle now negated. 2nd and 10. Will come up for Covenant Christian. And almost giving the 5. In fact, there will be a whistle. Looks like encroachment, so the 5 yards will be gifted back to Covenant Christian by Washington.
Jeez. Eventually, they'll make up their mind on where they want the ball.
So it will be 2nd and 5. Tyndall. 2 receivers to his right. Dowdle still in the backfield. Rolling out to his right is Tyndall. Dowdle trying to give him a lead block. Escapes the first guy. Lob pass back to the end zone, and it won't be caught. Good effort play there. Tyndall able to keep it alive. And the intended receiver for Covenant Christian appears to be Nolan Jones.
Samuel Lyons maybe. It looked like 80, actually.
So number 80 instead of number 20. Yep,
almost
Samuel
hauled it in with one hand.
Just a freshman out there for this Covenant offense.
After this week, Covenant Christian will travel to Tinley. And then they were home, actually, at Tinley. Thank you. And then they host Heritage Christian. And they're at Clarksville, Park Tudor, and Purdue Poly at home to finish it out.
That'll be some game 2 weeks from now.
Oh, yeah.
Hosting Heritage Christian, the Eagles, who are taking care of business on the road at Eastern Hancock, which is a really good Eastern Hancock team. Both teams 3-0. But last time we checked, it was the Eagles ahead at halftime 28-0. Try to get a updated score there. 2 high-profile offenses in Class 2A. Field goal unit out on the field for the Warriors. Fulbright has Tony Flatt out there to hold for him. From the 22-yard line, it'll be a 32-yard attempt. Snap, kick is up, and it's off the mark, no good. Missed field goal attempt there from the kicker, Jack Fulbright, who's been perfect on PAT, 7 for 7.
Yep, and that was his first field goal attempt on the season. Almost for him.
You like to have that as a 1A school, a smaller school. You have that ability in Fulbright to send the kicking unit out there. Not very many of the smaller schools have that. But Covenant Christian, lucky enough to have a guy like Jack Fulbright, who's put 7 points up on the board for them tonight. Timeout on the field called by Washington. We'll take one with them. 7:40 left to go in this one.
They say nice guys don't finish first. So maybe it's time to reconsider what it means to be first.
It's about being your best, but knowing you could be even better.
It's being present, but respectful of history.
You sure you want to make that move?
It's donating something more valuable than money.
It's believing in yourself and something bigger.
It's coming from different families, but treating each other like brothers.
It's not just being a man, it's being a Mason.
If you haven't yet already, hit that red subscribe button on our YouTube channel. You may be watching this game live right now on our YouTube page. Thank you so much. If you are, subscribe, hit that notification bell. You said we're closing in on 2,500 subscribers? Is
That's
that
right, yeah. Whatever I said earlier was not the correct number.
2,500 would be the correct way to say that.
That would be the 2,500th subscriber.
2500th. Is
No.
that right?
No, that's what I thought.
We'll figure it out later. Meanwhile, Washington has a run. Their first team offense still out there. Just a short gain of 1 for, not sure who was the kid. It was Hooks, the quarterback.
Yep, I think Hooks, his development is going to come on nicely. I think as long as he listens to his coaches. You know, Coach Mormon, I mean, in his tenure, 47-40 all time. And formerly at Shortridge for a little while, but at Arlington, winning a sectional over Covenant Christian back in 2017 was huge for him.
Hooks, pass is picked off. And guess who it is? Brock Buckley again.
Wow.
His second pick six and his third total touchdown here tonight.
This guy's all over the place.
That is something. He sure is.
He cannot not be around the football. And look, he throws his hands up. He's like, I
like,
don't know. I'm
what-
just playing football, man.
What do you want me to do here? I'm just playing my position, and I'm giving my team 3 separate scores. 55-0 now. Fulbright back out on the field after the missed field goal, looking to go 8 for 8 in PATs. Kick is up. Looks good. Plenty of leg for Fulbright on the kick. He makes it 56-0.
We're going to mention, too, Fulbright, quite a hooper. Remember calling a couple games of his in Covenant Christians last winter and shooting, scoring points. Now he's got 9 of them tonight. 8 of them.
Yeah, quite the
Boy.
season last year for football and basketball for Covenant Christian.
That's right.
You win the state championship in 1A. Your basketball team, sectional champions under the direction of head coach Scott Flatt, who was so kind to give us some box score numbers, some team stats during halftime. We thank him for that. His son, Tony Flatt, doing his part tonight at the quarterback position. Older brother Trey graduated this past summer. They got jumped by Van Halen playing in the stadium tonight. Plenty to jump around and be excited about if you're a Warriors fan.
See what Washington does here for the rest of the time.
At this point, it's just, let's try to get the basics right.
Let's try to get the basics right, and let's get some points on the board as well. I mean, they have a tough sectional. Greencastle, Tri-West, Danville, Cardinal Ritter, Indian Creek, and West Vigo. That is a tough road, no matter how you draw it up.
Fulbright was flirting with the sideline on previous kicks. This time, his kick does go out of bounds. So, good field position upcoming for Washington.
6.5 to go. See this replay once again.
Buckley just had his eyes on Hooks the whole time, looking at where he was going. There's been, 2 or 3 potential interceptions for Covenant Christian, and they could have 4 at this point, but right now Buckley has 2 of them.
Yep.
Clock starts to wind down. It's at 6 minutes and counting.
Park Tudor Traders Point score update. Park Tudor up 60-20 midway through the third. Okay, not a lot of defense going on in that game.
Timeout has to be called by Coach Moorman. Not everybody on the same page for Washington. They had some guys running onto the field late, forced to call a timeout. So that'll stop the clock. Here's a couple other scores. Brebeuf Jesuit able to defeat Gearing Catholic. Circle City Conference game there, 42-14 the final score. Westfield on top of Noblesville, 42-15. And Danville, 41-0 all over Crawfordsville. A few of the final scores here in week 4 in the state of Indiana. Mount Vernon extends their lead over New Palestine, 49-10 now, as that game has begun play in the fourth quarter. Heritage Christian has gone final. They defeat Eastern Hancock 35-0 on the road. Back to action here at Zionsville West. Hooks fakes the give to Stokes. Had somewhere to go, but taken down from behind. Had some green in front of him, but Hooks is only able to come away with 3 yards.
And Hooks has some legs on him. He can move. Just a matter of getting him in the right spot to go make a play.
Another final score, high-profile game. Hamilton Southeastern 42-13 against Fishers. Hooks is going to be taken down. Covenant Christian getting the sack. Trey Rapogel.
I like the effort by Hooks to get out there, move around. Looks like Washington's going to try to punt here. That's all you can do. I mean, a lot of guys are tired. A lot of guys playing both ways. Best thing you can do is just go try to make a play.
Arguably the best team in the state of Indiana, Center Grove. They lead Ben Davis 24-21. That game's late in the third quarter. Hard to believe it's week 4.
I know. It's gone by so fast.
It sure has.
Good punt.
Big spiraling punt over the head of Tittle. Stokes put a nice boot into it. Tittle with some blockers in front. Down the far sideline, spins back into play and forced out just shy of the 45. Good return for Tittle as the clock starts to wind down. Covenant Christian back out on offense. 3:10 left to go in this one. The Warriors are going to move on and be 3-1 on the season. 3-game win streak for them.
Washington will go 1-3. They head to Beech Grove next week.
Player goes off sides of Washington. And there's the basics that you're talking about late in this game. You can't lose your focus. So good opportunity to, like we said, just work on the basics, finish this game out strong. You're playing a top-ranked team in Class 1A. And you had some good things happen tonight if you're Washington. Covenant just too much offensively. Pass may have hit the ground, and that will be the ruling. Referee steps in, says it hits the ground. Tindall was looking for Jet Foster. Foster reeled in a catch on the previous drive for the Warriors, but this time doesn't come up with anything. 2nd and 5.
Bring it back on the incomplete pass, and Washington's got another chance. Might try it again.
Flag comes flying in. Covenant wasn't yet set. So Tittle will keep it himself, get the edge, and brushed out of bounds by Washington. There was a receiver on the near side that wasn't quite yet set. And unfortunately, the chains started moving too. So the referees will try to get this all sorted out.
Covenant wants to get one more play, and I think you got just a minute left to go.
Chains do get reset. Illegal shift by Covenant Christian is the official call. And by the time game clock has now reached 40. So now, yep, Covenant Christian looks like they want to run one more play. Tittle in the pistol. Has Dowdle behind him. Looking to pass. Down the far sideline. Tip ball. Nice deflection there by Washington. And that looks to be the last play of this ball game here tonight. From start to finish, the Warriors of Covenant Christian dominant on both ends.
Started with that Buckley touchdown when he found some space. Followed up by Rapogel. How about Neighbors? 4 touchdowns. Buckley with a couple more pick sixes as well to make it 8 for Covenant Christian. On the Washington side, I mean, I think you got talent with Bridges and Hooks. More importantly, Marcus Stokes. How about him running the ball? I think if they can get this guy the ball more often throughout the year, just let him do his thing, I think Washington's going to be in good shape heading into their sectional time.
Stokes only had 10 touches tonight, just shy of 60 yards rushing, but had some bright spots, including a 39-yard carry. That was the longest play from scrimmage that Washington had tonight, but not enough on both ends to stop this powerhouse in Covenant Christian. Tony Flatt, 2 touchdown passes, one of those to Brock Buckley, another to Trey Rapogel. And talk about Brock Buckley, too. Had the touchdown catch to start things, and he gets the last 2 touchdowns of this game on pick sixes to seal the deal.
He sure does. I mean, the kid's a dynamic athlete. Three sports is hard enough, but when you're good at all 3 of them, shoot, might as well play as hard as you can. And, I mean, to get two receiving touchdowns as pick sixes was a special deal, too. So, excellent job by Covenant Christian. They're going to be in good hands. And as they host Tinley next week, that's going to be exciting for them. And as Washington goes to Beech Grove, I think as long as you're running the football, I think a team like Beech Grove won't be ready for what they're going to see if you surprise them all of a sudden on the ground.
So Buckley responsible for 3 touchdowns. Neighbors leads the way on the ground with 4 rushing scores. And the Warriors defeat the Continentals 56-0 here at Zionsville West Middle School. The Warriors are 3-1 in the season. The Continentals drop to 1-3. For our entire broadcast team, Nick Lewis on the camera, and James Andrews, our producer tonight, and my broadcast partner, Joey Lindstrom. I'm Jarrett Lewis saying so long for now. Plenty of games upcoming next week, so make sure you follow us on Twitter and subscribe to our YouTube channel so you'll always know when we go live right here on IndianaSRN, where you're always in the game.